Skull Gang all day, man. You know what time it is. It is time for our jersey of the day. And why not keep it rolling, man? Keep it rocking and rolling. So a few weeks back, I was going with a whole T.O. montage in honor of his induction into the Eddie DeBartolo 49ers Hall of Fame Ring of Honor. They're not retiring his number. I would say I don't understand that, but I guess I do. But I still don't at the same time. You know, I could understand if we were like the Cowboys, because the Cowboys, when they induct their players into their Ring of Honor, they don't retire numbers at all. So there's not one Cowboys number that's not able to be used again. But our Niners, man, like the guys that have made our Ring of Honor, excuse me, some of them, their numbers are retired, and others, their numbers are still readily available. So T.O. and his number 81. T.O. is going into the Ring of Honor, but I believe 81 is not being retired. If I'm not mistaken, Jed York said that he's not retiring any more numbers. So Steve Young, I'm not sure how many of you know this, but there's only one player in 49ers history who ever wore the number 8. Nobody wore that before Steve, and nobody's ever going to wear it again. So, and of course nobody's wearing number 16. I'm not sure if they go by Super Bowls or whatever, but it just is what it is. Anyways, today's jersey of the day. Another beautiful New Jersey day, Southern New Jersey. Man, I love it out here. I love my neighborhood. I just love life, man. This is my second favorite time of year. Like, my first is fall. Well, maybe it's the third, because I love winter too. Fall is my favorite. Winter and spring are tied. Summer is my least favorite. Like, I hate it. I hate the heat. When I say hate, I cannot stand it, yo. I can't stand when it's too hot out. But anyways, man, let's get off into this. Today's jersey of the day, continuing on with my guy, Terrell Owens. You see the 50 patch, right? 50th anniversary. This is a Reebok Pro Line. Yeah, matching hat too, with the 50 patch on the hat as well. Reebok Pro Line, 1996, Terrell Owens away jersey. Yeah, the white away jersey. This is legit, right? Yeah, but and as you can see, it's the game cut. This is an actual team issue jersey. So keep it going with this guy, man. 96 was a good year for him. He was a rookie. The expectations, we grabbed him in the third round. So we've grabbed some like awesome players in the third round, from T.O. to Frank Gore. Like, there's a lot of them, which is why, particularly this time of year, and from the middle of the football season, anytime a team is not in playoff contention, I see a fan base yelling and talking about, yeah, we need to just lose out so we can get a spot in the draft and blah, blah, blah. No, man, you play to win every week. Playoffs or not, man, play to win, because the draft is always a toss-up anyways. It's not guaranteed that the guy you draft, I don't care how high you pick the guy, it's not a guarantee that because he's a high draft pick or had a successful college career that he's going to come in the NFL and do work. That's not a guarantee. And it's also not a guarantee that somebody that you get lower in the draft, or even someone who's undrafted that you get off free agency, there's no guarantee that he's not going to be big time. So here we have a guy who's drafted in the third round who is the second greatest receiver of all time. And, so when we picked him up, we didn't grab him with an intention of him being or becoming a number one receiver. If you recall, this was 96 we grabbed him. We grabbed the guy in 1995 who was touted as the best wide receiver in college football. He had the size. He had everything. He went to UCLA by the name of J.J. Stokes. When we grabbed him, he was being groomed to take Jerry Rice's place as the number one guy. So when we grabbed T.O., we kind of grabbed him as, a number two guy, a guy who would put in that type of work. That's what we got T.O. for. But very quickly, man, he showed us what time it was with him. 96, he had, 35 catches as a rookie? One drop pass as a rookie. 35 catches. And he just started to establish himself. So, he had a really solid rookie season, played great on special teams. And following that, the following year, 1997 year, that's when, some things kind of went left. And if you recall, both Jerry Rice and Steve Young got hurt that year. I believe it was against the Bucks. I think they took both of them out, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, as a matter of fact, that is the case. So it was Steve Young had gone out because I think it was Derrick Brooks and Warren Sapp. They sacked him, hit him. He went down in the same game. Jerry Rice went down, so he went down in '97. So very quickly, T.O.'s role as a number 3 guy, or a guy coming off the bench, very quickly his role expanded, and he ended up having to pick up a lot of the slack that Jerry left off. And JJ, who was there a year before, that was his chance really to kind of shine and establish himself as, the next guy. The next guy in line. So that's what it is. Crazy. But anyways. Yo, bro. Yeah, not bad. So yeah, man, JJ had a chance to establish himself, but it ended up being T.O. who had a great second year as well. It was the 1998 season, better yet. Well, he established himself a lot during the season as, a go-to guy. But again, we still had Jerry Rice and J.J. Stokes was there and everything. It was the playoffs versus the Packers, man, that moment where we'd never beat the Packers. Mariucci never beat him. He could not beat Mike Holmgren, his old teacher, the professor. He could not beat him. Regular season, playoffs, or whatever. And that started under George Seifert in the '96 season, man. We saw Green Bay in the playoffs, and they beat us. And, so George left after that. And, he went coaching elsewhere. What was it, the Lions? I forget where George went. I'm having a brain fart. But Mariucci comes in, and Mooch was cool. Like, I don't know, like, Mooch just couldn't get it done. He did very well. We did well during the regular season, and we had a bomb squad at one point. But Mooch just couldn't get it done. But in that '98 playoff wild card victory over Green Bay, man, like T.O., he wasn't having the best game at all. He caught a good pass, and what he specialized in, the run after the catch, he's going crazy. He ends up, I don't want to say doing too much, but the run after the catch, I guess he was focused on one guy. He ends up fumbling the ball. Then he had a few drops in that game. And this is a credit to Steve Young. And I think that this is where Steve created what we know Terrell Owens to be. Now, this is not to take anything away from T.O., because that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is, in a situation like that, a lot of quarterbacks, coaches even, teammates, everybody, in a situation like that where you have a case, where you have a game where you're dropping some balls, particularly if it's a playoff game or a game that means something, a lot of times the instinct is to take the guy out or to not throw him the ball, like whatever that is. But Steve Young, man, being as cerebral as he was such a thinker. He understood Terrell Owens, and that's why I credit guys like Bill Walsh and Steve Young. Those are genuine leaders of a team. It's not easy to do that. When you're leading a team, whether you're coaching or the quarterback, you have to know your teammates. You have to know the players. And I don't just mean know their skill set. You have to know psychologically where these guys are. And Bill Walsh, that's why he's so legendary. That's what made him so legendary. He knew players. He knew how to read people. He knew everybody's strengths and weaknesses. He knew how to get the best out of people. And Steve Young is, and I said this in the previous video, or prior video, Steve Young is the most intelligent quarterback to ever play professional football. And I don't just mean football-wise. I'm not talking about plays or whatever. I'm talking about just as an individual. But Steve Young read people, and he knew people. There was a point in that game where T.O. was going up to Steve saying, yo, please don't give up on me. Don't give up on me. And a lot of quarterbacks would have given up on him. But Steve gave him that reassurance and said, look, man, look, you're a great player, man. You've done some great things for us. If you're open, the ball is coming. And to say that is one thing, but with the game on the line, 8 seconds left, and you have one shot, maybe two if you're lucky. You have one shot at the end zone, and you have Jerry Rice on the field, and you throw the ball to Terrell Owens, a third-year guy who has dropped, some wide open passes this game. That says a lot about Steve Young. And then for Terrell Owens, for him to not melt down under that pressure. Just imagine how pressure filled that was, where you've dropped some passes or whatever, and this is the playoffs. This is win or go home. This is not the NBA or the MLB where it's a best of 7 series. If you lose this game, you go home. So guys who are having a bad game, most guys would shrink in that moment and say, look, I don't want that. I don't want to take the last shot. I don't want to run the ball. I don't want the game to be on my shoulders. But Terrell Owens welcomed that, and he stepped up to that challenge. And as in the words of J.J. Stokes, that catch is what established him as one of the big-time players in the league. And that was the first time where Terrell Owens, in and of himself, felt like I belong here. These are my peers now. If you look at his documentary where Steve Young was saying he called me sir, like he used to call me sir, yes sir, no sir, and Steve used to tell him, yo, don't call me sir. And that continued, in the words of Steve Young himself, that continued through the 98 season. So it wasn't until the end of the 98 season that Terrell Owens stopped calling Steve Young sir. Now, what happened? Why would that be the moment in time where he did that? Well, this is just my opinion, but I'm a thinker, so I like putting pieces together. What happened by the end of the 98 season to make Terrell Owens stop calling Steve Young sir and really feel like one of the boys, or feel like he belonged with these guys? And it was that catch. So that established him, and his confidence soared and everything. And after that, it was no more, he wasn't in there just taking on the role that people expected him to take on, which was J.J. Stokes, the number one guy when Jerry leaves. Nah, at that moment, Terrell Owens said, I can play with these guys. I can be a number one. I can be legitimate in this league. And once that confidence rose, the dude stepped up to the challenge, and he just built a crazy, crazy career, man. It was always very sad to me how everything ended, not only in San Francisco, but in Philly and Dallas as well. Even with the ending of his career, he never legitimately retired. Like, he never said, I'm done with the game, like a lot of guys. It was just after his stint in not Buffalo, with the Bengals, nobody just picked him up after that. And a lot of that had to do with the rumors that were surfacing. But if you talk to actual teammates, how many teammates have you seen speak out and agree with what these media personalities are saying and say, yeah, this guy was a bad teammate? You can't find any. You can't find anybody saying that Terrell Owens is a bad teammate. What you find is the media saying that Terrell Owens was a bad teammate, but you find a lot of teammates actually speaking up and saying, yo, he was an awesome teammate. I don't know where this comes from. What's his name? Marcus Spears from the Cowboys said straight up that, yo, those rumors are lies. They're straight up lies. He was nothing but exemplary in Dallas. Miles Austin went to the Pro Bowl, and that was because of Terrell Owens and Terrell showing him the ropes and teaching him and working with him and all of that. He was a great teammate in Dallas. And Marcus Spears, who was a teammate in Dallas, said all of those rumors about him being a bad teammate, you know where they come from? They're coming from the front office. So the front offices and the media had issues with this guy, not his teammates. So the fact that people are believing these things lets me know that they don't really do investigations. And I'll get into it in the Road to El Dorado documentary, but Donovan McNabb took advantage of that, and I'll break it all down. And it's disgusting what happened in Philly, man. And I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of what happened. But, again, I'll expose it. But jersey of the day, one more time. You see it. How many people you know with this? 1996. Terrell Owens rookie jersey. Yeah. Team issue, game issue, man. Bang, bang, Niner gang all day.